Hi students, I'm going to show you now how to do tutorial 1 in your textbook. This is Miss Wilhite at Bloom College, and we're working in ITSW 1304 Introduction to Spreadsheets. So in your textbook, on page EX1, the page numbering changed because it's no longer the Managing Your Files file management section, and the rest of the pages will be called EX for Excel. We're going to read these objectives. You're going to read this. You're going to see what we're doing here. We're going to do this job for Sally Hughes. You can look at this page and see everything that's going on there. Look at this page, and then we begin our assignment here in the tan box on page EX4. Now, I left my files open from the last assignment because I was so excited about the class that I wanted to jump into the tutorial. So they're open here, but guess what? We worked in this folder last time. This time we're going to work in this one. This is Excel 1. And so see here it says how to find everything, display the window screen. You can either open Excel and then do this, or you can open the file. If there's a file in here, we can open it. Oh, look, there's a file. Hopefully that's it. So, but this wants us to open it this way. So let's do it. I'm going to go to the bottom of my page, and I have Excel pinned to my bar here. The way you do that is you go to your Windows button, and you can't necessarily see it, so you go to All Programs, and then you find Microsoft. This is after you've downloaded Office 365. And it's going to be a little different for you if you're using the Office 365 or if you're using Windows Excel on a Mac, or if you're doing it the way I'm doing it, or if you're doing it in 8. So don't freak out about the differences. Okay, so here it is. Now watch what I can do. I can double click to open that, or I can right click and I can pin it to my start menu. It's already pinned to my taskbar down here, so the only choice I would have is to unpin it. But if I wanted to pin it to my taskbar, if it weren't here already, I could click pin to taskbar. This is the start menu. This is the taskbar. Anyway, I'm going to come over here because I've already got it. I'm going to open it. It opened over on my other, I have 2 monitors. It opened in my other monitor, so I drug it over here where you could see it. Notice I have 3 windows open here. That's okay. In Windows you can have, that's why it's called Windows, so you can have other things open. So that's perfectly fine. Anyway, I'm going to go back to, and here at the bottom in my taskbar, I'm going to click on it to get back to that. So it says to open an existing workbook, and then we read on. And we're going to go to, down here at the bottom, open other workbooks. And then we see the open screen, and we see the recent workbooks. I haven't worked in this class yet, but after I have, then this will come up in the top. Right now it's other things that I've been working on. So I'm going to click, because it's not here because I haven't done it yet, I'm going to click Computer, and it's not responding. So that's fun. The first thing we get is it's not responding, and so I had to click close it and try again. And so then it opened this. Well, this isn't where I'm supposed to be, is it? I'm supposed to be back at that other screen. That's okay. I can still do it the same way. File, open, Computer, browse, find my flash drive, go to ITSW 1304 data files, Excel 1, and we're working in the tutorial, so I open and check over here and make sure I'm doing the right thing. It says click SP Finances in the list. Yep, click open. So if it doesn't fill your screen, go ahead and click this maximize button, but I've got to keep it this way so I can, you know what, I'll move this over here and you can use your textbook instead of looking at this on the screen. That way it's bigger. So I can make this bigger, and I'm also going to make the size bigger so it's easier for you to see the recording. So you're reading page EX5 at the bottom, and now we go on to page EX6. It talks about keyboard shortcuts that I showed you in the very first lesson. Here they are, Excel keyboard shortcuts. Make sure you learn these. You go much faster when you learn. So down here at the bottom, these are the sheets. And so we're going to follow the instructions here. Click the ink, and I'm going to stop reading the book to you and telling you what the book says. I'm going to assume you're doing this in the book, and the only reason you're watching this video is because you were having trouble. So if you were having trouble, watch this video. If you're not having trouble, do the assignment without the video. Okay? So it says click the income statement sheet tab. This becomes the active sheet. Click the expenses sheet tab to make it the active sheet. Click balance sheet. Click cash flow, and then back to income statement. Now, when we're navigating within a worksheet, the worksheet is organized into individual cells. Each cell is identified by a cell reference, which is based on the cell's column and row location. This is obviously the rows. These are the columns. For example, this is cell B1 because it's column B, row 1. In the book, picture in the book, the active cell is A1 in figure 1.5. Row numbers range from 1 to 1,048,576. I don't know where they came up with that number. That's interesting. And columns will just repeat after A through Z. It just goes on to AA, then AB, then AC, and so forth. We're going to scroll through this. On the vertical scroll bar, click the down arrow button over here to scroll. On the horizontal scroll bar, scroll. On the horizontal scroll bar, drag the scroll, let's see, on the vertical scroll bar, okay, they want us back in A1. So we're there. Bam. To move the active cell, you just put this here and take your hand off the mouse, and you can go like this with your keyboard arrows, or you can do it this way. This is not very sensible if you're just moving from one to the next one. You can do the page up key. Let's see. Press the arrow key, press the page down key. Okay, press the page up key. Bam. Use the go-to dialog in the name box on the home tab and the editing group. See home, so when it says on the tab, this is the home tab, this is the insert tab, the page layout tab. In home tab, in the editing group, I don't see the editing group. So I'm going to need a clue. Here it is. Here's the editing group. Home tab in the editing group. Click the Find and Select button. And then click Go To on the menu that opens. And say C36. Type C36 and press OK. Well, there we are. That's C36. That's really useful if you've got a few thousand lines of data. Next, we're going to say, click the name box, type A1. So go to A1. Okay, and there I am. We can select a range. Click cell B5 to select it. And without releasing the mouse button, oops, I'm going to have to click it again, drag down to cell C8. All right. When we release it, the range is selected. And see up here, we can see in the name box B5. That's what it was talking about before. Click cell B5, B5. Hold down the Shift key, click cell C8, and release the Shift key. Hold down the Control key to select as you select B10 through C14. Control B10, 14, and then release. So now this is how we select a non-adjacent range. We can do either one. But look, they're all selected right now. Click A1 to deselect the range. To close the workbook, on the ribbon, click the File tab, File, to display the Backstage view, and then click Close. If it asks you whether to save, that's because you typed something in there accidentally. Click Don't Save. So on the ribbon, click the File tab to display the Backstage view. Click New, Blank Workbook. We're going to rename this sheet by double-clicking it, as it says on page 16, calling it Customer Order, hitting Enter. So then we're going to insert and name the documentation and customer contact worksheets. So we're going to do this to make a new sheet. Double click, documentation, enter. New sheet, double click, customer contact, enter. We're going to move the documentation sheet because it tells us to at the bottom of 16. Press and hold, we'll see, point to the documentation sheet tab. Press and hold the mouse button. The pointer changes to that and a small arrow appears. Drag to the left until that moves, and then we've just moved it. So now it's the first sheet in the workbook. We can delete a sheet. Let's go over here to right-click the customer contact sheet and say delete. We're going to save this workbook for the first time. So we're going to come up here, we're going to click the Save button, and it doesn't have a name. And then we're going to have to figure out where to put it. So we're going to click Computer, and Recent Folders comes up for me. If it doesn't come up for you, you're going to have to browse for it, but it comes up for me looking for my flash drive, E. And that's where I want to put it. I want to put it in Tutorial folder, Excel 1, Tutorial 1, Tutorial folder. So I'm going to, let's see, what do they want me to call it? In the file name box, select Book 1, the suggested name. Well, mine is Book 2. If it's not already selected, and then type SP Customer Order. And make sure that this says Excel Workbook, because if you're saving something that's a different type, it will change, it will save it as that same type unless you change it. These are all our choices, so you want to make sure you got the right one, XLSX. Click Save. Okay, there are three basic general categories for data. We've got text, numbers, and dates and times. And we're going to type sparrow and pond. We're going to hit Enter twice. And now we're going to be, the active cell is A3 because it went down. We entered once to solidify what we had typed. We entered, and it automatically advanced us to the next row. And we entered a second time to take us to the third row. Now we're going to type author in cell A3. Oops. Yep, that's it. Press Tab. And that's, you see that moves us to the next cell in the row. Type your name in cell B3. Press Enter. So then you see the box automatically goes to the first cell of the next row. Type date in cell A4. Press Tab. 5. To make it active, type purpose. Press Tab. Type to record customer book orders. Press Enter. And we see on page EX18 that, yep, mine looks like it's supposed to, which is what you're doing on page 19. On 19 it says, click Undo to press the Control Z, removing the text you entered in cell B5. Okay, I might have to, one more Control Z then. Now they want us to redo it. If you are really slow at typing, then you should either take the typing class here at Blinn, or you should take Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. Go purchase it and learn how to type faster with all of your fingers instead of just two fingers. If you're really bad at spelling, you're going to find that that's a problem in business too. You should read more and pay attention to spelling and try to improve your spelling. You could take my business communications class here at Blinn to help you with your grammar and spelling. So we're going to double click the cell, and we're going to arrow over to this I deleted, and I hit and press enter. So that's edit mode. We're back in ready mode automatically when we go to the next cell. We're going to enter some contact information. Where does it want us to put it? Click the customer order sheet tab. In cell A1, type customer order. Enter twice. Ship to. Enter. A4 through A10, enter the following labels. Pressing the enter key after each. Click cell B4 to make that cell the active cell, B4. In the range B4 to B10, enter the following contact information, pressing the enter key after each entry. Tobias Gregson, 412 Apple Grove Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. Oh, I misspelled postal code. 03061. And then 603 555 4128. Go back and fix this by going into edit mode, putting my S there. Now you notice that the first name, we're not seeing the whole thing. Postal code, we're not seeing the whole thing. It's there. We're just not seeing it yet. They're going to show us how. To enter the postal code as text, ooh, I typed it wrong anyway. It's 0. Oh, no, I didn't type it wrong. It took out the 0 because it thought it was a number. So whenever you want to enter a number that starts with a 0 and you want it to appear as text, you have to put an apostrophe in front of it. So we're going to go to cell B9. It's selected. And we're going to either have to go to edit mode, or we're going to have to come up here in this to put in an apostrophe and the 0 so that it knows it's text. Notice text goes to the left. And the reason this phone number appears as text is because we started with a parenthesis. If we didn't use the parenthesis, if we typed it like this, 603 555 4128, look what happens. Huh. Well, I thought it would start subtracting things, but it didn't. Oh well. So now we're going to work on entering dates. And to enter, and we read along and see that on page 23, click the documentation sheet tab to make sure the documentation sheet. Now, in the real world, you want to save that. I'm telling you, you just did all that work. Control S and save that. Let's go to documentation. To make it the active worksheet, click cell B4. Type the current date in the month, day, date, year, format. So this is 02/09/2016. Press enter. And so it reconfigured it slightly. It took out the zeros. Make this the customer order sheet, the active sheet. I'm going to save. Anytime I go on between sheets like that, I'm going to save. I just did some work. Okay. Now we're going to see, as in page 116, the list for the books that Tobias Gregson has purchased. So we're going to enter the first 5 columns of the book order into the worksheet. I'll go ahead and type, and you go ahead and type while I'm typing, okay? So in the customer order worksheet, click cell A12. To make it the active cell, type ISBN. Press tab to move to B12. B12 to E12, category, binding, title, authors. Actually, I think it wanted us to capitalize them. Yeah, it did. And it wasn't supposed to be there. So I'm going to delete that. Delete that. And it wants it up here. A13 to A17. Well, oh, okay. That was fine. But, no. Oh, I see. It wants it down here. Okay. And it was in all caps. Okay. Go up here to this. No, that's the size. Oh, in Word you can do it in all caps. You can't do it here. Huh. Okay. Okay. I've worked a lot. I'm going to save that because it looks like what it looks like in the textbook, and I don't want to lose my work. Now it wants us to enter let's see, enter key to go to the next row, making cell A13 active. Okay, we're supposed to be here. A13 through E17. Enter the ISBN, category, binding, title, and author text for the 5 books listed in Figure 116. Pressing the Tab key to move from one cell to the next, and Enter to move to the new row. See Figure 117 to see what it's supposed to look like. Text in some cells will be partially hidden. You will fix that problem shortly. Okay, so we're going to turn back to page EX23 at the bottom, Figure 117. We're going to put that stuff in. So, I wonder if they want us to enter after that. Look what happened when I hit enter. I don't think so. Let's see what it said. No, it wants us to just type it as one line. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to make it active. Control A, and then I'm going to select it all. Control Shift End will select all that for me. Control X to cut it. I'm going to put it in here with hardcover. With Samurai Williams and the title. And I'm going to come up here and paste it, Control V. Then I need to put the author. So you see how I fix things? Does that help? And what about the price and the quantity? Was I supposed to put price and quantity? No. Okay, I'm not supposed to put those yet. So I'm going to hit return, and it doesn't take me where I want to go, so I'm going to have to get over there with the control arrow. So then the next one. Sorry about that. Delay there. Next row. New. I forgot to pause when I checked my message from my husband and responded. This time it went all the way back because I didn't stop. By the way, I'm not on a laptop, I'm on a full-size keyboard. So I'm using my number pad to type these. If you have that, you should learn how to use it too. Notice that as I type something that appears that I've already typed, it auto-completes. So I don't have to finish the word. I can hit tab and go on to the next one. Why such a long title for us to type? Jeepers. It's just ridiculous. 0, 7, 8, 5, 8, 2, 1, 6, 9. You're working on yours, right? 2 Gileses. That's interesting. 0, 8, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5. And tab. Okay. So I'm going to hit save. Man, Control S that because I've worked hard and I don't want to lose that. So now it says entering numbers. In Excel, numbers can be integers, decimals, or negatives. In the case of currency and percentages, you can include the currency symbol and percent sign when you enter the value. Excel treats a currency value such as 87.25 as the number 87.25 and a percentage such as 95% as a decimal, 0.95. Much like dates, currency and percentages are formatted in a convenient way for you to read, but only the number is stored within the cell. This makes it easier to perform calculations with currency and percentage values. So we're going to complete Tobias Gregson's order by entering the price for each title and the quantity of each title he ordered. So we're going to come up here to F12 through G12 and put price and quantity by tabbing. I'm going to hit return. It's going to take me where I started. In cell F13, I'm going to type $5.95. The book price is stored as a number but displayed with the dollar symbol. In this one, we're going to enter 2. And then we're going to enter the remaining prices and quantities shown in figures 116. So, and I'm going to save again. Notice that these numbers are right aligned. That shows us that they're entered as data, not as text. So much of the information, now we're finally going to change the column widths. So column widths are expressed as the number of characters the column can contain. The default column width is 8.43 standard size characters. So that means basically you can type 8 characters in a column. Any additional text is hidden or overlaps the adjacent cell. Column widths are also expressed in terms of pixels. Pixel is a single point on a computer monitor or printout. Column width of 8.43 characters is equivalent to 64 pixels. So on a computer monitor, pixel size is based on screen resolution. So things can change. What you're looking at on your screen is different than what when you're watching my video, it's different than what I have on the size on my screen, because it's been made into a video and you're watching it in that video format, and it's probably a smaller window. You could make it bigger. Like if you watched it on TV, a 55-inch TV, then it would be bigger. So we're going to increase the column A the way I showed you before by doing this. Move the pointer over the right border of column A, but this time instead of just double clicking and making it just do what wants to be the widest item in the list, let me show you what that means. See, that's going to make it to here or here, because those are the widest items in the list. But they want us to do it by dragging it and looking up here at the width just above that B. You see that? And they want us to stop at 15. And that's the pixels. The width of column A expands to 15 characters. Increase the widths of column B and C to 18 characters so that their complete entries are visible. Rather than resizing each column separately, you can select both columns and adjust their widths at the same time. B, C. So we click on the B, drag to the C, select this, and now we're going to make this 18. All right. And so D is partially hidden. They want us to, instead of using the mouse, we're going to set it using the Format command on the Home tab, which gives us precise control over setting column widths and row heights. So what they wanted us to do is click the heading so the entire column is selected. And on the Home tab up here, in the Cells group, over here, click the Format button right here, Click column width and type 30. Notice that when that number, there was a default number in there that came up. And we didn't have to hit delete or backspace or anything. When something's highlighted, if you just type, it'll type over the top of it. So now we've got a 30 character column D, and column E, they want it to be 15 characters. And you can do it however you want. So we're going to click A1. The revised column widths are shown in figure 120. Now you see we still have a problem over here with column D. Even though the width has increased, auto fit is what I showed you before. We can do this and that. But they want us to wrap the text instead. So I'm going to Control Z and undo that. Notice that they said resize it to 30 characters. Yeah, Control Z, my friend. So now we're going to select the range D13 through 17 only. And on the Home tab, we're gonna make this wrap. So let's see, where is that? On the Home tab in the Alignment group. See where it says Wrap Text? See what happens? It automatically went down to make the rows tall enough to fit the text within this 30 pixel column. If you want to create a new line within a cell, press the Alt-Enter keys to move the insertion point to the next line within the cell. So right here, I could put this here and go Alt-Enter, and it's going to give me a new line. And I hit Enter, and it's done, you see? But it doesn't tell us to do that in the book, so I'm going to take it out. Then we're going to change the row height. Move the pointer over the bottom border of the row 12 heading. See there how it changed? Until it changes to this. Drag the bottom border down until the height of the row is equal to 30 points. You see, we see this tooltip. That's what we want, 40 pixels. Release the mouse button. Control S to save the workbook. And we're done with session 1.1. Okay, everybody took a little break, I hope, to pause the video. Now we're back. We're on page EX32, adding formulas to a worksheet. So read the text. Remember at the bottom your order of operations that you learned in high school. If a formula contains more than one arithmetic operator, Excel performs the calculation using the same order of operations you might have already seen. It's a set of predefined rules used to determine the sequence in which operators are applied in a calculation. First, it calculates the value of any operation within parentheses, then exponentiation, then multiplication and division, and then finally addition and subtraction. And you can remember that with please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So here we have a graphic for you, and you can also find this in the PowerPoints if you want to download them. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is the order of operations, and here it's from the bottom to the top. Now we're going to enter the formula to calculate the charge for the first book order. So we're going to go to page to cell H12, and we're going to type in all caps charge. Hit enter. Oops, I had my caps lock on. There. Then type equals FG asterisk G13 equals FG, asterisk G13. So what we're doing is we're taking, I'm going to hit enter so you can, okay. Equals, what did I do wrong? Equals FG asterisk G13. Okay, as you type the formula, a list of Excel function names appears in ScreamTip, which provides a quick method for entering functions. The list will close when you complete the formula. You'll learn more about it. Press the enter, and it says the value is supposed to be age 13. Okay, so mine isn't, and this is a perfect example to show you of what to do when it's not working. FG times G13 is supposed to be the price of the book multiplied by the quantity of books ordered. Price of the book times the quantity ordered. And so I typed equals FG asterisk G13, and it asked me name. And it did that because I typed it wrong, didn't I? I was supposed to type F13 times G13. So equals F13 times G13. Now we got something going. Okay. Click cell H13 to make it the active cell. I just arrowed to it. It displays the result. I'm going to hit Control S before I mess it up to enter the cell references in the formula using the mouse. Click cell H14 to make it the active cell. Type equals to indicate that I'm typing a formula. Click cell F14. So I'm going to take my mouse and come over here. You notice it put it in there. And I'm going to type asterisk. And then type G14. Wait a minute. Click G14 for that. And then hit enter. So that's another way to enter it in. I could have typed it like I did here, or I can click it like I did here. And notice when I typed it, I made an error. So for accuracy's sake, you're better off clicking it. And then we can copy and paste formulas. So reading on page 35 and then down to the tan box, click cell H14. I'm there. It contains the formula I want to copy. See up here, we can see the formula up here too. Okay, but I'm going to hit escape because I don't want to mess it up. So click the copy button or press Control C. Always better to use keyboard shortcuts. And so I've got this formula now, and I can select this range and paste it in there instead of putting it in over and over. And I just Control V'd. You see that? I clicked one, drug down, Control V'd it. I'm going to save. And so you can see, if I click on these, I can see up here that it is indeed the corresponding formula. We can simplify formulas with functions, as we see on page 36. Function is a named operation that replaces the arithmetic expression in a formula. Functions are used to simplify longer complex formulas. For example, to add the values from cells A1 through A10, you could enter the following long formula. Or you could just use the sum function to calculate the sum of those cells. So we could do that. Look, if I wanted to, I could go here and I could go equals this plus this plus this plus this plus this equals. Or I could do this. AutoSum. Now, which do you think I'm going to do? Yeah, did you see how I did that? I just put my cursor here. I went up to AutoSum, and it selected everything automatically above it. Now, if there were a space, it would not accept all, and then more numbers above it. It's only going to stop at that space. It's not going to include everything above it. So then we look at, let's see, make sure you read about introducing function syntax, which specifies how a function should be written. And then we see use AutoSum, which you saw there where I had all those multiple plus. Those were just like you see in the middle of page 36, function, argument 1, argument 2. So it's if this number plus this number plus this number. So we just did the AutoSum at the top of 37. And now we have each sale made by, at the bottom of 37, it says each sale made by Sparrow and Pawn is subject to a 5% sales tax and a $15.30 handling fee. You'll add these to the customer order worksheet so you can calculate the total charge for that order. To add the sales tax and handling fee to the worksheet. Click cell G11. Oh, I'm going to save while I'm at it. Here's G, here's 11. Type sales tax. Press tab to go to H11. In H11, type 5% as a sales tax rate. Press enter. click cell G19. To make it the active cell, type tax, press tab, type equals H11 times H18. Always use capital letters for people who come behind you. Press enter. What we did was we multiplied H11, which is this, times this to get this. Then we can calculate the total order cost in cell G, let's see. Wait, it wants us to do something else. I skipped down. Click G19. Done, done. H11, done, done. G20. Oh, handling. Handling charge. Tab. 1530. Because it's just a standard fee. It's not a function of the other things. Press enter. And now we're going to get the total. Press tab. And we're going to type equals sum and then we get a screen tip and we're going to type H18 through H20. You know, they didn't tell you to put a parentheses there. You got to put a parentheses there. H18 through, colon means through, H20. Close parentheses, and of course I see no reason to do that. I would do this. And see, notice it's not going to go all the way up because this is a sum. So we have to make it. And it does the same thing. Okay, let's save our work. Then read page 40 where it says writing effective formulas, and this is modifying a worksheet. We're going to drop and drain. Let's see. Sally wants the subtotal tax handling and total values in the range G18 to H3 would move down one row to the range G19 H22 to provide more space from the book order. She will use the drag and drop method to move the range. So we select G18 through H21, and then we move the pointer. Notice my mouse changes from that to this, and we just do this. If you don't like doing that, you can insert a row, or you can cut it and paste it. Let's undo that, and I'll show you what I mean. Right-click, cut, paste. I did Control V instead of right-click paste. Let's undo it. Let's come over here. Right-click. Nope. See, these are still selected, so I have to escape to deselect them and come over here, and I can insert, and all my numbers stay the same. So there's 3 different ways to do that. Sometimes you want to know how many unique items are included in a range, such as the number of different books in the customer order. To calculate that value, we use the count function, which has the syntax count. I'm going to, let's see, did we leave it with that space for her? Yes, she liked it. So we're going to Control S to save. She wants a summary of the customer order starting in row 3. So you'll cut the customer contact information in the book listing from range A3 to A22 and paste it into range A9 to H23, freeing up the space for the order information. So we're going to go up here to click A3, Control, and hold down the Control, then hold down the Shift, then tap End. You see what happened there? So that picked up every cell from that space to the end of the worksheet. On the Home tab in the Clipboard group, Home, Clipboard, click Cut. See, it doesn't really disappear yet. Or you could do Control X. So this means that it's been cut, and we're going to put A9. So we're going to move it to there instead of dragging it like we did before. So I'm going to Control V, paste. Again, I would have personally inserted rows. But everything stayed the same. Our numbers stayed the same. Our formulas stayed the same. It's all good. So in A3, now we're going to type order ID, tab 14123, enter. Shipping date, tab 4/3/2016, enter. Delivery, tab, oops, typo, overnight, enter. Items ordered, tab, we're in B6, and now we're going to use the count function. So we're going to type equals, capital locks, count, and so it's still blinking. Select the range. Don't, you see this insertion point is still blinking. Select the range G19, so we're going to have to scroll down with our mouse or use the scroll. If we touch anything else, that's going to deselect. So if it doesn't work, it's because you touched something else in the meantime. We're going to go to G19, click, drag to G23, let go, and it didn't like that. Okay, count. So notice I fixed that by just clicking on this again. So count, and I click down here to make it active again. With the insertion point still blinking, select the range G19 to G23. It says type. It's not putting the first parenthesis in again. Is that something I'm missing? Count. What if I just did this and clicked it? Nope. Ah, that's it. So when I selected it, it put that parenthesis in for me. Now I can come down here and drag this, and then come back up here and add the parentheses and hit enter. You see what I did there? Okay. Oh, so 5 items were ordered by Tobias Gregson. Type total charge is the label in cell A7. And tab equals. Click cell H28. H28. Enter. So there we go. Now it's going to show you how to insert a column or a row. Like I was telling you, it's easier. I'm going to Control S to save, and then click row 21 to insert it. You just click it over here in the row header. On the Home tab in the Cells group, up here, Home tab, Cells group, I can go Insert, and it'll do it. There's a red box on page 44 that I want you to read. And let's see. They want us to add a new book here. Then click this, copy, Control V, paste. Notice down here it's going to change everything. Change their tax because that was a formula. It changed our total. We didn't have to go back and do that manually. Control S. We're going to delete the Holy Grail because he did not order the Holy Grail. So we're going to delete that row, click here. We can come up here and we can either delete, or we can just right click and delete. And again, it updated automatically. I'm going to Control S to save. I'm going to insert and delete a range. It talks about how to do that on page 46. You select it, and then in the Home tab in the Cells group, click Insert or Delete. So let's do that. Select A17 to A28, because Sally wants to insert cells in the book list that will contain the Sparrow and Pond book ID for each book. So we're going to go to A17 to A28. In the Home tab on the Cells, click the Insert Cells. Now notice if I did this, see it either way, it knew I wanted cells there because I had selected cells. Verify that the cells, Shift Cells Right option button is selected. Click OK. New cells are inserted. Resize columns C and D to 12 characters so that it'll fit on a page. I don't like doing it that way. Resize column E to 30 characters. And on this one, I'm going to do it the other way. E, Home tab, Cells, Format, column width, 30. Resize column F to 15. Format, column width, 15. Select rows 19 through 23. Just the headings. Select the row 19 through row 23 headings. Control Home. Oh, okay, here. In the Cells group, click Format, Auto Fit Row Height. Cells Format, Auto Fit Row Height. So it made them smaller over here because we'd made the column wider. Click cell A18, type book ID, press Enter, Control S. Oops, I did Control A. It's okay, I can still Control S. So why did we insert those cells in here, even though the book ID values will be entered only in this range? We inserted cells 17 through 28, even though we're only going to enter them in 19 through 23, because if we hadn't, then these over here, these rows, these items wouldn't have moved over. So we had to insert it all the way down to make sure that those moved over. So read 48, then page, do the bottom of 48, and I'll be right back. I gotta go teach a class. On page 48, we see flash fill. We've already talked about autofill, where if the first few letters you enter can be repeated. I mean, they'll be typed in automatically for you. If you start typing like hardback, paperback, you notice it was, or soft cover, it automatically filled the cell for you. That's autofill. Flash fill is where a pattern is recognized in the text, in the values in the data, and it will complete it for you. There's an example of that on page 49, and so let's go ahead and try that. So we want to make sure that A19 is the active cell, and we're going to type 25385-used and press Enter. And then we're going to type 9 in cell A20. 9. And it says flash fill generates the remaining entries in the column based on the pattern you entered. Oh, you know why it didn't? Because I've got a typo here. Okay, so let's do that again. This is supposed to be 2-5, and so it establishes that pattern. So let's try that again. 25385 dash used. Okay, so now we see this pattern is coming from here, these letters, and this. So here we're going to type 9, and oh my gosh, that is so cool. Look at that. You see it filled. I'm trying to point with my finger at the screen. You can't see that because I don't want to mess it up by moving the mouse. But over here in column B, B20, it's pulled that 96213 and then the new. And the next one is pulled 01089 and the used. So we're just going to hit enter to accept those. And Control S to save. We're almost done. We're going to format the worksheet. To make it easier to read, we're going to add cell borders around the worksheet cell. So we're going to select the range A3 to B7, A3 to B7 with the Shift key. On the Home tab in Font Group, we're going to click the Borders button arrow, this little arrow here. Click All Borders, and see the borders are added around. Select the non-adjacent range A9 to B16, and then hold H17, A9, hold Shift to B16, and then come over here and Control H17 to I17 to add those to it. Now see, they're all selected. We're going to add borders around those cells. So in the font group, we're going to click, actually it says all borders is already selected, so we don't have to click the drop down and find it. All borders, and click cell A17 to deselect the cells. And so this is what it looks like. I'm going to make it a little smaller so that you can see better. Okay. We're going to change the font size so that some parts of it stand out a little better. So we're going to click cell A1 to select it. And that's where the worksheet title is. And so on the Home tab in the Font Group, we're going to click Font Size button arrow, this, or this, either one will do, to change it to 28. So let's do it this way, change it to 28. Okay, so we made some big changes here. I'm going to Control S to save it. And then we're going to print it. So we finished it. We want to print a copy of the book order, but we want to preview it to ensure that it's going to print correctly by changing the view. So we can change it in view it in three ways. Normal, which is what we've been using. Page layout, which shows how it will appear when printed. And page break preview displays the location of the different page breaks within the worksheet. So we're going to see how it appears on printed page by, and notice up here I have a shortcut to see how it print previews. And I'll be showing you how to do that later in the course, but I'm telling you right now why mine is different. I click this and I added print preview and print, which is this, so that I can easily see. But what they want us to do right now is to go to view, no, click the page layout button on the status bar. Okay, yeah, view, or that. Let's try. We did it by going to view, and here are the different ways to look at it. Okay, so page layout, view page layout, got us there. Drag the zoom slider to reduce the zoom level to 50%. This way we can see the whole spreadsheet. We click the page break preview button, and we can see where the page break is. Zoom the worksheet to 70% so that you can more easily read the contents of the worksheet. Click the normal button on the status bar, then it returns to normal view. And we can see the page break here, this dotted line. So what are we going to do? Instead of having that on 2 pages, let's make it, that's just silly. Let's make it 1 page landscape, a wide page. This is called portrait view, portrait orientation. We're going to make it landscape orientation so it all fits on 1 page. So we're going to go to page layout, orientation, landscape. Now look, it almost fits on 1 page except for this little bit here. And they tell us to put it on page layout, which I already had it on. And now we're going to get it all on 1 sheet, we're going to set the scaling option. It changes the size of the worksheet on the printed page. So you can scale the width or the height so that all the columns or all the rows are fit on a single page. You can scale the printout to fit the entire worksheet. If the worksheet's too large to fit on 1 page, you can scale the print to fit on the number of pages you select. You can also select the worksheet, scale the worksheet to a percentage of its size, like 50% reduce the size of the sheet by half when it's sent to the printer. So Sally asked us to, on page 54 to scale the printout so that all the customer order worksheet fits on 1 page in landscape orientation. So what we do is we come up here to on the page layout tab, click the width arrow, and we click 1 page. Now it fits it on 1 page. Then we click the height arrow, which we don't really have to in this case, but it's just best practice, and say fit 1 page. And so what it did was it just made everything smaller. And so let's save that. You can print the contents of a workbook by using the print screen in Backstage View. And so they're telling us to go, because you don't have this up here, you can put that up there if you want. Say File, to display the Backstage View, Print, and now we're seeing a preview of what it's going to look like printing. Down here we can see that it's only 1 page long. We can see it's in landscape orientation. Click the printer button and then select the printer. But see, mine automatically went. You can see down here it was sent to printer. So that's why I like to use this instead. Same thing, it'll get me to this page, but once I click print, it's going. Because I already have, oh, here, it wanted us to click this and select a printer and then the print. Okay, so if you did that, then you would select the printer. And in the settings option, then click print entire workbook. Where's that? Top button, print active sheets. That's the default. I'll print entire workbook, which is going to also print the other, remember we have 2 sheets here. We've got documentation and customer order. This is going to print both of them. And down here we can see next page. So it's going to print both of those. So if you were going to print this, you could print that now. But we're not, so let's do this. And view the worksheet formulas. So most of the time, when you're only interested in the final results of a worksheet, not in the formulas used to calculate the results. However, in some cases, you might want to view the formulas used to develop the workbook. When you're encountering unexpected results, you want to examine it, you want to discuss it with colleagues, then you want to display the formulas instead of the values. And the way we do that is in page layout view, where we are, press Control plus. And Control plus the plus is next to the backspace button, but it's not working. Usually located above the tab key. Oh, it's not Control plus, it's Control and then the accent. There we go. It's Control plus the accent above the Tab key. And so then we look at the entry and we can see over here where we've got formulas. So we can see where the formulas are displayed. So we could save this workbook with a new file name so that we'd have both the formula view and the other view, you know, the pretty view. So we're going to do that by saving it with new file name. Okay, I already saved it the other way. I want to save it. Hang on. I'm going to press the Control. I want to go back to this view and save it, and then press the Control accent again to this view and save it. And I want you to do that too. On the ribbon, click File tab to display Backstage View. Click Save As. Go to the same folder and call it SP Customer Order Form. See, we've already got SP Customer Order. Let me show you something cool here. It's already filled that in for us because that's what it was already saved at. So all we have to do is type 4. Okay? And then that. Now we're going to select the range B3 to B5. Let's go back to normal view. Control Home. B3 to B5. Right click the range to open the shortcut menu. Click Clear Contents to clear the contents and select the non-adjacent range B10. So I click to B16, hold Shift down, A19 to H23, Control click, to H23, A19, no, A19 to H93. Okay, so let me do that again. Make this smaller first of all so we can see it. Go back here, Shift, and then it selected it. Press Delete to delete the contact information for him in the list of books. Select cell I-27, clear the handling fee. Select cell A3, Control Home to make sure that that cell is the active cell. And then next time someone opens this workbook, cell A3 will be the active cell, and they've got everything's empty here except for the formulas. So Control S, and now we have a new form created from that. Isn't that cool? Wow, good job. And now you're going to do the review assignments, which are the blue pages. And you'll do them if I have a Dropbox for them. If I don't have it, or if I have it assigned in SAM or Applia, then you'll do it there.